Hey there. If you're a small business owner who has ever found yourself staring blankly at a digital ads dashboard, terrified of wasting your hard-earned budget on the wrong tracking codes, and honestly, maybe even questioning your life choices, welcome to this explainer. You're in exactly the right place. Today, we're breaking down the metapixel and the Google tag. We are going to clear the fog, completely cut through all that heavy tech jargon, and give you a crystal clear understanding of what these tools actually do out in the wild. All right, let's look at our roadmap for today. First up, the tracking tool dilemma. Then, creating versus capturing demand. Third, we'll look at the case for Facebook, followed by the case for Google. And finally, we'll wrap up with the ultimate tag team. Let's dive in. Section 1, the tracking tool dilemma. The big question, are they interchangeable? Spoiler alert, they are absolutely not interchangeable. I mean, sure, at a glance, the metapixel and the Google tag kind of look like they do the exact same job, right? They both track website behavior, they measure conversions, and they feed all that juicy data right back into their ad platforms. Because of that, it's incredibly tempting to just swap one out for the other depending on your mood. But treating them like identical tools is literally the quickest way for a local business to just set cash on fire. If you apply a Google strategy to a Facebook pixel or vice versa, you are going to bleed money. And here's the psychological reason why. Which brings us to Section 2, creating versus capturing demand, the core difference. This right here is the fundamental difference that so many business owners totally miss when they're setting up their ad tracking. It boils down to this. Facebook creates demand, while Google captures demand. Once you wrap your head around this one simple idea, choosing your strategy gets infinitely easier. It all comes down to what the user is doing the exact second your ad appears. Think about Facebook for a second. It's an interruption-driven platform. When someone is hanging out on Facebook or Instagram, they're looking at photos of their friends, right? Or watching funny dog videos or catching up on the news. They are definitely not actively looking for your business. Imagine a user scrolling their feed and bam, they see an ad for a mouth-watering local steakhouse. Now, they weren't planning on eating steak tonight, but suddenly, they really want a steak. You interrupted them and you created that desire out of thin air. Now contrast that with Google, which is completely intent-driven. When someone goes to Google, they have a problem they want to solve right now. If someone types best steakhouse near me into that search bar, they aren't just casually browsing. They literally have their car keys in hand. They already know what they want, they just need to know who to give their money to. Google doesn't create the desire for the steak, it simply captures the person who already wants it. This one distinction drives everything about how you should be using these tags. All right, Section 3, the case for Facebook. Let's look at the metapixel playbook. Let's weigh Facebook's superpowers against its weaknesses. So Facebook absolutely shines for building initial awareness. Let's say you just opened a cutting-edge boutique fitness studio or maybe an artisanal bakery. Google can't actually help you much yet because nobody knows what to search for. Facebook, on the other hand, lets you target specific interests, behaviors, and demographics so you can put your brand in front of the exact right person. The clicks are usually way cheaper at the top of the funnel, and the retargeting, it's elite. But, the cons are real. Because users aren't actively shopping, conversion rates for cold traffic are naturally going to be lower. And, as we've all seen, Apple's recent privacy changes have definitely made tracking a little less precise. So here's the harsh truth for all the frustrated business owners out there wondering why their Facebook ads aren't immediately ringing the register today. If you expect instant sales from cold Facebook ads, you're just going to be disappointed. Remember, it's an interruption platform. You are planting seeds, you're building an audience, and you're generating awareness. You are not capturing someone who has already made the active decision to hand over their credit card. Okay, moving on to Section 4, the case for Google, the Google tag playbook. When your goal is simple, you just want to get customers who are already looking for you, Google is the undisputed champion. Think about high-intent searches like plumber near me, best tacos in town, or emergency AC repair. Think about that last one for a second. If your AC dies in the absolute middle of July, you don't casually scroll Facebook hoping an HVAC ad magically interrupts you, right? No way. You go to Google dripping in sweat and frantically type emergency AC repair. For local service providers or restaurants, these search terms are the absolute lowest hanging fruit on the internet. The crucial takeaway here is that people typing those phrases are not browsing. They are ready to act. And that means when you use the Google tag effectively, you're tapping into a stream of customers that are going to yield much faster returns on your ad spend and significantly higher conversion rates. But let's be real, Google isn't magic either. Yes, it perfectly captures that high-intent traffic for local businesses. Think roofers, tow trucks, emergency vets. And the ROI is highly measurable. Especially with Google Analytics 4, you know exactly which keyword drove the sale. But here's where it falls short. Because everyone wants those ready-to-buy customers, clicks can get incredibly expensive in competitive markets. If 20 plumbers are all bidding on plumber near me, the cost just skyrockets. And crucially, Google cannot generate new demand. If nobody is actively searching for your highly specific niche offer, well, Google just isn't going to move the needle for you. Which brings us to our final section, Section 5, the ultimate tag team. Let's look at a smarter approach. Look, if you're ever forced to choose between the two based strictly on an immediate timeline and a tight budget, just ask yourself what you need today. Do you need cash flow right now, like say a roofer right after a massive hailstorm, or a 24/7 towing company? Pick Google. You absolutely need to tap into existing demand. But if you need to build local awareness for a brand new coffee shop, or you want to stay visible to past visitors to launch a new product, pick Facebook. Honestly, though, the smartest approach is to not choose just one. The secret is that most businesses fail not because they chose the wrong platform, but because they expect the totally wrong outcome from it. Instead, you should follow this simple, no-nonsense setup. First, install both the Metapixel and the Google tag on your site. Second, track your key actions across both platforms. We're talking page visits, phone calls, form submissions, and purchases. Then, deploy them for what they actually do best. Use Google for search conversions and use Facebook for retargeting those exact same searchers. The bottom line is that they aren't competitors, they're complements. The real win comes from capturing the demand and closing the deal with Google while using Facebook to make sure people remember you. Picture this scenario. Someone searches for an emergency plumber, clicks your Google ad, but then, oops, they get distracted by a crying toddler and forget to call. If you only use Google, that lead is completely gone. But because you had the Metapixel installed, later that evening when they finally sit down to relax and scroll Facebook, your ad pops up. It reminds them, and then they finally make the call. That is the true power of the ultimate tag team. So I want you to take a look at your current ad spend. Are you treating your Facebook ads like Google searches? Are you expecting cold, interrupted scrollers to just buy instantly? And if so, how much money is that fundamental misunderstanding costing your small business right now? It's time to take a hard look at your strategy, align your platforms with their true strengths, and watch what happens to your bottom line.